What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So The Last of Us Part 1 on PC is certainly launched with a ton of issues, as we all know by now, and while I did do a day one Steam Deck video, I kind of held off a couple of days on PC, and we did get a hotfix and a patch, and even though they didn't do a lot, it changed just enough for me to where I decided to scrap my original video for the 3060 and make a new one here. So let's go ahead and jump into it and take a look, starting with our settings. So 1440p is my native resolution here, and we're going to be running unlocked frame rate, no VSync, with DLSS on quality. And we're going to go through a few different settings later on as well. As far as graphics, this is on the high preset with no custom tweaks along the way, just to keep things easy in this video. When the game does get fixed up, I'll probably do a best settings video, at least for the Steam Deck, maybe for the PC, but we want to see some fixes first. Now, I will say, since the hotfix and the patch to kind of help with the memory issues and some other small performance issues and stuff like that, there are some improvements. I had some crashing happening on day one, and I will say that at about 14 hours into the game, I haven't had any other crashing since the hotfix and patch that has come out. I've also had a better experience when it comes to like assets not loading in and hair missing and things like that since the memory fixes. So while there still are a lot of improvements needed to The Last of Us, I will say that some of the issues that was really stopping me on day one have kind of been mitigated. And you can see here with the performance, depending on where we're at with these settings, I'm anywhere from the 40s up to the 60s or even 70 FPS. And for the most part, that's really not too bad here. Though, like I said, there is a lot of room for improvement. And like an area like this where there's some NPCs coming in and some more going on and loading in, we really hit that CPU in the 80s and 90s. And that's when the GPU usage drops and our frame times get a little goofy here and there, or a little stutter. Or we're not able to just push the maximum FPS that you might want to push out of your rig. And that's kind of where the problem comes in, and it really depends on what hardware you're running and what CPU you're running, if you can power through some of this. Now, I want to hang out in this spot for just a moment. It's a good area to kind of look at all the settings and some DLSS and that type of thing here for just performance and visuals. And I want to go through low, medium, high, and ultra, all with and without DLSS. So we'll start here with low, with no DLSS on at all, and just sitting here still in this area. We're right in the upper 50s and able to push things with the GPU just fine. And we'll switch over to DLSS being on quality here, and of course it's a big jump up in our frames, but if you're in areas that are CPU intensive, you'll actually lose frame rate with that. Now here's medium with no DLSS on. So a little bit of a drop there of about 10 FPS versus low with no DLSS just in this area. And we'll switch over with DLSS on quality here, and a nice little jump up. But again, if you're in another area of the game that's less GPU intensive and more CPU intensive, you lose those benefits. Now here we'll take a look at high with no DLSS, and we drop about 4 FPS compared to medium sitting here. And then we'll go ahead and kick DLSS on quality, which will gain us a bit here. If you're in other areas of the game, you do drop more than what we're just seeing here, but it's a good example of a consistent spot here for performance and visuals. Now here we've got ultra with no DLSS on, which of course with a 3060 and the current performance of the game, I wouldn't really recommend with a rig of this type. And then we've got DLSS on. Even if you're going to run DLSS, I would stay away from ultra, but I just want to show it here while we're kind of hanging out and sitting still. Now I'll switch this over back to my high preset with balanced on DLSS, and I'm not really going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with quality because, again, other areas of the game that get more CPU intensive, it really can struggle. And more towards the beginning of the game, this is a good example here where it's really hard for the CPU to keep up with things here in general, and you'll lose a lot of your frame rate. Your frame times get messy, and your GPU is just not being utilized the way that you would like, and that's just going to happen no matter what I do with the settings in areas like this. It just kind of is what we're contending with when it comes to that. But for the most part, I will say there are some small improvements. I'm able to play the game on my PC without crashes, at least so far. Some of those memory issues seem to be better. And with high preset and quality on DLSS, I'm playing the game anywhere from 48 to 70 something FPS. I can definitely tweak things and lock this to basically a 60 for the most part, depending on where I'm at in the game. But I just want to show what kind of performance I'm getting here currently, and we'll keep tracking this as we move forward and then come out with more patches. I'll definitely update my PC video and my Steam Deck video for The Last of Us when they actually get some more fixes and optimizations out that might kind of help us run the game better than what we're seeing here. But anyways, guys, thanks a lot for coming to check out the video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.